Episode of Transitioning Humanitarians Live with Viki. Hi, Viki.
Hi, Asel. Hello, everyone.
So today's topic that we want to talk to you about is what to do when you're worried about your reputation and how to handle it. And I have been getting this coaching a lot lately, and maybe it's because of the tense situation in the humanitarian sector. We understand
Mhm.
that we want
Yeah.
to keep our reputation as good as we want to, pristine, or the way that gets us to the next job, and that's very understandable, right? So therefore worry maybe is also very natural. So we wanted to talk to you today about who creates a reputation and what happens when you follow your brain's worrying patterns
Yeah.
and where it leads to, and so you are aware of it, and basically what to do about when our brain says, I need to protect my reputation, right? So this is the question that we're answering. So Vicky, let's start with who creates reputation,
Very
and
good
we get
question.
it clear.
Who creates a reputation? And I mean, first of all, Atul, I also would like to say that it is a very, very good question to think about a reputation because it is whether we like it or not. Reputation lives with us. It supersedes us very often. So it's a valid question to know what are other people think of me, and it's important to know what is the reputation, or what is the consensus, because it can help us, we can leverage it, but it can also be something that goes against us, so we might not even be aware what that reputation. So it's a valid question, and here I'm getting to really to your question as who creates it, and that's a good question as well, because I believe it's a combination of things. I believe that good solid reputation is based on sort of predictable factors, and consistent factors that you show up over the time, that there is reliability, that you show certain skills, certain character, that you keep on showing up, and that builds a good reputation, I believe. But of course, it could be something can happen as a one event, that may be a negative event that might tend to tar a good reputation. And just like I think also this proverb says that it is easy to difficult to build but easy to destroy. I think this is unfortunately true about reputation as well. So maybe I would start with these few thoughts of mine.
Mhm. So
Um,
here is how I would like to answer that question is, so on the one hand, we are the ones creating reputation, right? So me individually, you individually, everyone individually doing that by showing our character traits, especially at work, we're talking, right? So showing our character traits through our actions, through what we're doing, what we're not doing. Um, Maybe some of us have the reputation of being very vocal, others have a reputation of being very assertive. Some
yeah.
people have a reputation of being very quiet and not saying anything, right? So these are all the character traits coming out through our actions. So that's one way we build a reputation. The other way that's built is, of course, by other people perceiving us.
Yeah.
And when they perceive us in a particular way, they may have their own judgments attached to it, which says this is the person and this is how she or he is in working, right? So that's why in the humanitarian sector, and this is not a secret, when we talk to other people and then we tend to know each other, or we tend to know so and then we start immediately talking about that person, and then usually there is one word adjective or one word
Yeah.
emotion that describes that person, right? So that is the other side of the coin. Now, when we know that reputation is an opinion essentially coming from other people, and reputation that we are building actively is what we are doing through our actions, through our character traits. Now, here is how oftentimes humanitarians ask me is that I'm worried about my reputation, that I need to protect my reputation and I need to do something about it because this boss does not like me or this colleague does not like me or this person is saying this or saying that, and then I need to do something about it. And this is where I would like to get us, Vicky,
Mhm.
concrete as to what can be done in such situations. What would you
Yeah.
say?
Yeah, so that's an interesting scenario that you are mentioning, because from what I'm hearing is that this is the situation where one person is stating or has certain opinions that might actually and maybe this person is a person that has a certain power. Maybe there comes there is a certain territory that comes with it, and at the same time, the question of the reputation is also, is it or is it not you? Because there might be certain reputation that that is not who you really are, even though people perceive you. So I think maybe that's also something we should clarify. You might have certain reputation, but and it's important to understand where it came about, and that's why I think it's important to realize that reputation can also go very good, or move positively or also negatively on a sudden experience. So if there is a person that seems to have a negative opinion of you, I would try to understand if this is what others think as well, if this is a
Mm,
prevailing reputation. I very often, when I work with clients, um, there is a, there is a exercise I often give them, where I ask three people how they perceive you, because because there are things we might think that who we are, but there is a whole different thing how people may perceive you, and it very often is something that they already know, so it's a confirmation. But sometimes there are things that really come up that are a little bit surprising. So I think this
mm,
exercise, I think it's always very good, because if there are three people that will give you an honest answer, three people who know you, three of your colleagues. If three times more or less the same elements come out, then you know that this is how people perceive you. So I would say this way. It's yeah.
mhm. So here's how I'm thinking about in terms of following that worry, because worry often obviously comes from if being afraid of the opinion, right?
Mhm.
And the reason why we're afraid of the opinion is we are believing that the other person who doesn't like us have an opinion that we feel very uncomfortable about.
Mhm.
So oftentimes then what worry does is worry makes us want to go and talk to that person, or worry makes us not
Yeah.
sleep, or worry makes us
Mhm.
maybe go to other people. And what we often do in the worrying state is we don't really look at our own reputation and our opinion of our own reputation, right? So that's the part that I find very
Mhm.
uh, sad about our brain, is that our brain wants to go after where the problem
Yeah.
is, and then forgetting about, wait a minute, what is actually my opinion of my own reputation, right?
Yeah.
If my own opinion of my reputation is that I am doing the things that way I want to, or the way that I feel my professional standard of doing things, and I am doing my best in the situation, whatever that is, and we all understand no one is perfect and all the things that we
Mhm.
say. So if we are like keep pursuing or keep chasing after who is saying what and why they're saying and all of this, what we often tend to vacate or abdicate is our own opinion of our own reputation.
Yeah.
Now the question comes, why are we not so solid on our own reputation, right? So why are we feeling that our reputation is so fragile that it can
Mhm.
be broken, so to say, in quotes, right? It can be broken by someone saying something and not liking us.
Mhm.
And this
Mhm.
is where I really get my people first to look at, okay, if you believe someone is doing that, but if you believe yourself that you have a great reputation or you know what you're doing and you are doing the things the way
Yeah.
you believe as professional is the right thing to do, then why? are you still wanting to chase that worry and talk
Mm-hmm.
to that person and do the other things? Right? What are we hoping to achieve from that conversation? Because imagine if going to the other person and saying, well, I hear you don't really like me and you're having bad opinion of me. Imagine
Yeah.
us having that conversation, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming it's very unlikely.
Yeah.
So then if we're not going to do that, then why worry? And I
Mm-hmm.
understand worry is something that our brain just has the physiological tendency to go
Yeah.
after one opinion, even though 100 opinion is great. We're
Mm-hmm.
likely to keep thinking about that
Yeah.
one negative opinion, right? So that's just the way we are wired. Therefore, in such situations, first thing I would like for you to think about, okay, no matter who is saying what about your reputation, what is your opinion about your reputation, and how much do you trust your own reputation, whatever that is, and then what are you trying to get out of going after that worry and chasing that person or keep thinking about that person.
Yeah, yeah. I think that it's important what you're saying, because sometimes opinion of one person can give such an important weight to what we are thinking about ourselves, essentially,
Yeah.
and that's really, I believe, also to quite some extent a question of self-esteem. But it's important to have the ability to really make the distinction between opinion of one person that
Yeah.
might have their own her own emotional reasons why that person is doing it, and really a standard opinion of so many other people who will agree that you know how to do it, that you are professional, that you have all these qualities. So in that sense, yes, it's important not to so to speak stress too much about one lone wolf's opinion, if I may say simplistically, and really make sure that the opinion of the majority or the reputation that you have with the majority is the one that is going to work for you and is true, that you believe is the correct one.
Yeah. And also, I understand that if we want to, like Vicky said, right, if we want to understand where they're coming from or why they might be saying certain things, or they may even happen to mention it to us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that they may say things like, well, I would like for you to be part of the team and team player instead of like going off and
Mm-hmm.
getting the things your own way. If I mean, this is just an example, right? If they happen to mention it and we want to reflect on it and learn from it, amazing. But oftentimes worry does not really let us do that. And that's what we need to understand it, right? So that's why what worry does is worry wants us to react to things in ways that we probably wouldn't have reacted
Yeah.
if we had other feelings. So that's why the other quality of worry is that what I often find is that then humanitarians that I coach, sometimes they have this, they change their opinion about their own reputation, and now they're thinking about their reputation being, I actually don't really have a good reputation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because of that one event or because of that
Yeah.
one maybe
Mm-hmm.
mistaken decision or whatever the thing that we believe we shouldn't have done and we have done it, and now we like punish ourselves in some way for eternally now not having a good reputation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So therefore it's important for you to also think about what would be the use of continuing this narrative of now I don't really have a good reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, we can always debate about what good reputation means,
Yeah.
right? And that's very subjective understanding, but it's important that how you understand it and how do you believe your good reputation should look like. And
Mm-hmm.
if you feel like it's no longer good, why that is. Why is that label and how do you want to then change it? Because it has a lot of impact on you going forward and
Mm-hmm.
moving in the career ladder or
Yeah.
in the work that you do. If you have this inclination of, oh, I don't really have a good reputation, I
Mm-hmm.
have this thing and now
Mm-hmm.
forever I cannot really say that I am this person, then you will always constrain yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's a good observation when you say that, or when you conclude that reputation can change, because it is a result of some sustained action. So this reputation can change, and we can see it. People who are maybe in media, or people who are in public spaces, that their reputation also changes over time. And this is really, as you say, this is something that we can contribute to as individuals. That, okay, this is the work I'm doing, and I am building, and that's also building my reputation. I would also like to maybe stress that whilst it's important to know what is my reputation, I think that maybe obsess too much about reputation, and on the expense of actually doing the work, might also
Yeah.
not be a really conducive for you. And so it's important where it's coming from, and how is it being formed, and what is genuine opinion of people, and then at the same time, maybe being extremely following this subject might be on the expense of something more important that you want to do.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's the part that really makes we need to watch out for that worry, or watch out for that fear of, okay, I have to now protect my reputation. Whenever you have this sense or feeling, ask yourself what that even means, right? What
Yeah.
is that protecting your reputation means? Because it's something that obviously is a diffuse thing, opinion among people, opinion of how they see us,
Yeah.
and also opinion of ourselves, of how we see ourselves, right? So we're basically having two um, opinions to choose from or to rely on. And then, of course, our brain is wired in the way that we want to just go and latch onto the negative one and then keep
Mm-hmm.
digging in and keep
Yes.
digging in. And it's very natural for many of us humans to do that. So knowing that tendency of our brain in that moment, when you have this feeling that you need to protect, like get curious as to why you're being vigilant
Yeah.
or protective or defensive, whichever the way of the reputation, and why you're not trusting the reputation that you have built up until now, which I'm assuming most of us humans don't build it in the negative way, right? We don't tend to say, well, I'm going to build this horrible reputation that no one's going to like me. I don't think anyone does that. So that's why we usually try our best to do the work the way that we know best how to do it, advocate for things, work for the cause. This is how we all do it. Therefore, why are we not trusting our reputation in that moment that it can withhold or stand such turmoil or turbulent
Mm-hmm.
moments? Because that is going to happen, especially if we go high up in the organization or in the institution, right? This is going to come up over and over again, and therefore relying on our own judgment of how our reputation can stand that, I think, is one of the key things we can do,
Yeah.
instead of keep feeling like we need to keep reacting to this, to that, and having this politician syndrome of
Mm-hmm.
going by the headlines, so to say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, anything we haven't said, Vicky, in this regard in terms of reputation?
Um, I believe, maybe just to reiterate, that know what is being said. I think it's a healthy way of really having a feedback. It's also sort of a feedback as to how to improve overall. If people have the tendency that, if many people think about you that you are a good, kind person, but you're not approachable, um,
Mm,
and if several people are saying the same thing, maybe there is something you need to change about the way you act. So sometimes we may be not aware of certain ways we are acting. And that's why knowing what people are saying about you overall is a good way in order for you to improve the way you act, improve your performance, improve your behavior, and also see if there is, if based on that, how are you leveraging your reputation? Because it is true that, I mean, good reputation gets you far. So obviously, that's also true to say.
I always love to think of reputation as something that I continue building.
Yeah,
And it's not something that I build like only for the purposes
yeah,
of reputation,
of
right?
course.
But by me being the way that is true to myself and doing the things the way that I genuinely believe needs to be done this way, that is how it's going to create the reputation in the world, right? And I mean, in among colleagues and
Yeah,
whoever. And then will there be people who will be saying that's not the right way or that's not the just way, whichever the way? There will always be, of course. There will
yes,
always be people who will do that and say that. And the more we know people, the more likely statistically there will be such opinions.
yes.
Now, will I want to then worry about, my God, how that will influence my reputation moving forward and all
Hmm.
of this? I don't see the point of doing that simply because I want to trust my reputation that I have built
Hmm.
up until now.
Yeah.
And also, I want to believe that for the job that I'm going moving forward, I will have the expertise and the CV and all of the things that I have
Hmm.
already to be getting the job, right? And one person or the two person, however many, but whatever you believe is not really reflecting of your reputation, I don't want that to be the reason why I don't go and seek other opportunities or propose my services, whichever the way, because whoever who will trust working with us in the future, they will always do that because they will know what you are actually capable
Yeah.
of. They will know what you can do, right? So therefore, I have seen so many amazing colleagues who were somewhere in their career bad mouthed, and then when they went to other assignments and duty stations, they have shown how amazing they are in
Yeah.
their performance. So therefore,
Exactly.
all of that becomes of the past as well. So
Hmm.
therefore, overly worrying and studying about how to navigate this world reputation or the perception of others, I think is not really useful time unless you want to learn from them, of course. So I think we have said everything that we wanted to say on the topic. And of course, if you would like to get coaching on this or have questions, absolutely come over. We'd love to help
Hmm.
you. So in the meantime, thank you so much. Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you, Asel. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, so we'll see you next Thursday with other topics. Until then.